10 years after the Supreme Court extended marriage rights to same-sex couples nationwide, the justices will soon be taking up a case that explicitly asks them to overturn that decision. And at the center of it all is a name you might remember: Kim Davis, the former Kentucky county clerk who refused to issue marriage licenses to gay couples back in 2015. In 2015, the landmark Obergefell v. Hodges decision legalized same-sex marriage in all 50 states under the 14th Amendment's due process protections. But not everyone followed that ruling immediately. Kim Davis, the Rowan County clerk in Kentucky, refused to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple, citing her religious beliefs. And her refusal made national headlines. She was eventually jailed for 6 days for defying a court order to comply with the law. And now she's back in the news because Davis is appealing a jury verdict ordering her to pay $100,000 in emotional damages to one couple, plus $260,000 in attorney's fees. Her legal argument is that the First Amendment's protection of religious free exercise shields her from personal liability, and more fundamentally, that Obergefell itself was egregiously wrong and should be overturned. Her attorney, Matthew Staver, calls the 2015 decision legal fiction and argues that the mistake must be corrected. This is significant because it appears to be the first time since Obergefell was decided that the court has been formally asked to overturn the precedent. Davis is one of the very few people in the country with the legal standing to bring such a challenge. Her petition frames the issue similarly to the court's 2022 decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned abortion law to the states. She cites Justice Clarence Thomas's concurrence in that case, where he called for revisiting Obergefell and other major substantive due process precedents like Griswold and Lawrence. Most legal experts see Davis's chances as slim. Lower courts have consistently rejected her claims. A federal appeals court earlier this year ruled that because she was acting as a state official, she can't use the First Amendment as a defense. The Constitution doesn't shield government officials from liability for violating someone's rights under state action. Notably, not a single judge on the appeals court even supported rehearing her case. Attorneys for the couple she refused to marry say they're confident the Supreme Court will decline to hear it too. But Davis's petition comes amid a renewed effort by some conservative groups to reverse same-sex marriage rights entirely. In 2015, before Obergefell, 35 states had bans on same-sex marriage. Only 8 explicitly allowed it. This year alone, at least 9 states have introduced legislation to block new marriage licenses for LGBTQ couples or have passed resolutions urging the Supreme Court to reverse Obergefell. In June, the Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant denomination in the United States, voted to make overturning Obergefell a top priority. Public opinion shows strong support for same-sex marriage, about 70% in 2025 compared to 60% in 2015. But that number has plateaued since 2020. Among Republicans, support has dropped sharply from 55% in 2021 to just 41% today. Even if Obergefell were overturned in the future, existing marriages wouldn't be invalidated. That's because of the 2022 Respect for Marriage Act, which requires all states and the federal government to recognize legal marriages, same-sex and interracial, performed in any state. But overturning the precedent would let states block new same-sex marriages going forward. The justices will privately discuss Davis's petition this fall. If they take the case, arguments could happen in spring 2026 with a decision maybe by June. But several legal analysts doubt the court's conservative majority wants to tackle Obergefell head-on right now. Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett have shown little interest in reopening the question, and even Justice Neil Gorsuch may not want to take it up. And other legal analysts predict that the court wouldn't hear the case as a straight gay marriage case unless a lower court forced their hand in a broader context. There are roughly 823,000 married same-sex couples in the United States today, and nearly 600,000 of them were wed after the Obergefell decision, and nearly 1 in 5 of those couples are raising children. The makeup of the Supreme Court has shifted dramatically since 2015, with a 6-3 conservative supermajority. Chief Justice John Roberts, who dissented in Obergefell, once called it an act of will, not legal judgment, and warned it could create serious questions about religious liberty. Kim Davis is betting that at least 4 justices will agree to hear her case, and that maybe more will agree with her argument. For now, the nation will be watching to see if the Supreme Court steps back into one of the most consequential civil rights debates of our time. Whether the court takes the case or not, this is a reminder. Legal precedents can be challenged, and rights that many thought were long settled can still be fought over in the highest court of the land.